All right.
1, 2, 3. And it is, yay! Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good night, like at the movies used to say, because we don't know. We're global. If I want to let everybody know that we are global now. I've been knowing
Yeah.
people that are in Canada right now watching us, that are in China watching us. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
Awesome. So, welcome to
Yes.
the Time to Shine Happiness Show with the BBs. Barbara Ellis and Barbara Beckley. My name is Barbara Beckley, and my mission is to make sure that everybody, especially women, I love the women, to understand their PPD, their purpose, their passion, and their drive. And I do that by stuff like doing stuff like this, bringing them on so they can shine like diamonds. And Miss Barbara, my other BB partner, introduce
Good
yourself.
Good morning, everybody. And I'm Barbara Loonan Ellison, and I am your personality pro. Because personality drives reality. And the thing is, my mission is to make happiness the norm rather than the exception. And the thing is, part of happiness is being able to have impact and influence and to earn income. So I work with heart-centered entrepreneurs to transform like the personality of their messaging so that they attract their ideal audience. So it is just fun and rewarding. And that's why I love bringing people on like Kimberly. Kimberly and I have known each other for several years now. And we just hit it off and just we jive that we're all on a mission to make an impact in the world. So Kimberly, it is so nice to have you here. Welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great. The sun is shining and there is air in my lungs. Thank you so much for that, Barbara. Barbara, thank you so much for having me here on your platform this morning. I am doing wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well,
So
first
tell
of
us,
all,
yeah,
well, I
yeah,
want to say
yeah.
real quickly, I want to just, I love what Kimberly said. Just the air, and she's up and
Right.
breathing. That alone, we should be like, yay!
Yes.
So thank you,
Yeah.
Kimberly, for reminding us that we're still, just having fun, and that's where the happiness comes in at. So go ahead, Kimberly. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah. Oh, we cut each other off all the time. It's like part of the but you know what? It's part of the show. And what's I love is that even when you see like The View and stuff like that, and it's like they cut each other off. It's like, yeah, that's how women talk. This is what we do. So this is all about just being authentic, being
Mhm.
yourself, having fun, smiling, and laughing. And so, yeah, this is perfect.
I love it too. I love it too. It's
Yeah.
like I said, it's an absolute pleasure. My name is Kimberly Leknig. I am a relationship breakthrough strategist, and I help professional working women create more mindful relationships in their lives. So, thank you again, ladies. I couldn't even be happier to be here and so excited about what we are going to be talking about today.
Right. So how did you get to be doing what you're doing? Tell us a little bit about your story, a little bit about you and your journey.
Mhm.
Absolutely, absolutely. So my journey actually started 25 years ago, believe it or not. And I was just a 15-year-old girl. And my family, like many of our families out there, had their struggles, right? And we all know, every single one of us on this planet have a story, right? And a story was put in our heart. Well, my story was to support family, was absolutely to support family. And how that happened is that, there was one night, I was around 15, and I looked up, and I didn't come from a religious background by any means. I looked up and I just had a conversation with God. I had a conversation with God and said, you know what, God, help me out here. Help me out here. I always had this belief, and that's a conversation for another day. I know I had this belief, this intuition that was inside of me, but I looked up, had a conversation with him. And then the next day I go to school, and it was like I felt that morning, I could just remember feeling this lightness. And I went to school. My home ec teacher said, hey, you know what, Kimberly, I have a terrific woman in the local community to connect you with. She's working in the childcare industry and she has an opportunity. And I thought I would absolutely share it with you. So God put my home ec teacher in my path, to be one of those guides. And, I know you ladies know exactly what I'm talking about when I say guides, because so many of us have so many guides that are put onto our path. So it started the journey, and it was working up my way up through the childcare industry, and then working 2 jobs to put myself through college and getting my bachelor's in speech and language pathology, still working and doing what God intended me to do in the childcare industry. And then I did get this opportunity to work in my field of choice, which was speech pathology, supporting children birth to age 14 years old with a variety of different speech and language diagnoses, including those on the autism spectrum. So just a fantastic plethora. But then I had my 2 kids. I'm married. I have my 2 kids. And I'm thinking, you know what? I'm not sure where God is leading me right now. I don't know what he wants me to do. And so to make that story a little short, in August of 2018, after getting certified, I became a relationship coach. And I will tell you, it is an absolute pleasure to be in service of others on this higher level. And every day I get confirmation that I am on the right path. Whether it's just a small little baby step or it's a huge step. And it all counts. And it led me here to talk to you ladies today.
And you know what, Kimberly, you said a mouthful in just that last little sentence about steps. So often we get caught up in that we have to make these huge strides every day. Well, you know what? That doesn't always happen. Sometimes the steps are one little thing that you think, oh, well, that wasn't little. I mean, or, that wasn't big. How can that be? But it's all part of the journey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like yesterday, one of my steps, I learned how to do tags on an email. Who knew?
That's a huge step.
And to me, it was like, oh, brother, I learned something new. And that's the thing, to be a lifelong learner, to just always be open, to be open to the little things and the big things and the in-between things. So, yeah.
I always say that. I tell people, if you're not forever learning every single day of your life, then why are you still here? I mean, it's basically like you're telling yourself, okay, I know everything. I've done anything. Goodbye. And I'm like, no, I don't care how old you get. You're always forever learning. And it takes time. I always tell people, take the stairs, not the elevator. I know there's a quote out there like that. But take the stairs, not the elevator, because you go up the elevator, it's like, whoop, and then you can fall. When you take the elevator at speed, and then you miss all the little stuff. Like you said, Barbara, those little things.
Sometimes it's those little things.
Yeah, are a huge thing.
And you only see them when you look back and go, oh, yeah, that was the day I learned how to do tags. Wow. And what a difference that it has already made in just one day. Because I feel, and you know what the thing is? It was so frustrating. In fact, I had to call for help. I'll admit, I couldn't. I was like, I finally just texted my techie guy, and I said, okay, fine, I am done. And this was earlier, a couple of days before. Okay, I'm done. You are, because he sent me a little thing of how to do it. And I just wrote back to him. I said, you are speaking geek to me, and I don't understand it. So I need some personal in English time, because he was speaking geek. And and it was like, tech is, not my big thing, but I'm starting to learn. BB1 is a great techie. She does tech. But you're further ahead than I am. But but isn't that the truth though? And Kimberly, you and I have talked about it before, is that for people to accept where they are and what they're learning, because we can't all know everything for everybody, but we all learn from everybody.
Yes, absolutely.
And then nothing's wrong with asking, like you just did, Barbara, for your techie guy.
Right.
You ask
Yeah.
for help. I always tell people, ask for the help. Ask
Yeah.
for the help. If you don't know if you need it, especially to move up in what you're trying to do, because that helps you help others. See, I always tell people,
Right.
if I'm not asking for help to do what I need to do, I feel like I'm holding back from helping others, because now I'm sitting back wasting time trying to say, oh, how do I do this?
Right.
I'm like, okay, let me call Kimberly. She knows how to do it. Call
Yeah.
Kimberly. You know?
Exactly. Exactly. And sometimes you just need to talk to somebody. You just need to talk it out. That's where the relationship comes in. You just need to talk it out sometimes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more, ladies. It's absolutely a journey, right? So it's about those opportunities that we have to dance in the rain and really appreciating them and knowing that when we're going through some type of challenge, and Lord knows there's so many challenges that we face, but thank God, because there's such a gift inside those challenges. I mean,
Right.
that is where the growth is,
Right.
that is where the growth is. And if we don't have a challenge, how boring.
Exactly. Exactly. And don't, and I always love when I hear these like the really, that we think of as the rags to riches kind of stories. And they're talking about, because now they're in the riches part, but then they say, yeah, but if it hadn't have been for this, I wouldn't be here today.
Yeah.
And that is when it is so fun to hear that. It's like, oh, they went through that. And so often people think that they're the only ones that are going through something, and they're not. There's 7 billion there's 7 billion people on this planet. We've all been, somebody has been through exactly what you've been through.
Sometimes more than one.
Yeah, or more than once.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Kimberly, you want to say something?
No, I mean, I'm listening. I'm listening.
No, you talk.
No, come on, yeah, talk.
No, but I was going to ask
Kimberly. I'm going to brag on Kimberly for a second. She has a new group. She has a new group, and it's called Tea and Meditation. And I want her to tell you about it. It just because sometimes we do need to just step back, take time to really get in touch with who we are inside. So
I love that. And thank you so much for mentioning that, Barbara. Yeah, I am so excited. I spent the whole entire year of 2020 meditating on mine, not knowing where it was going to take me. I just showed up and I just started meditating. And it was I mean, I've been meditating for a while, but for something just was calling to me to just do it on mine. You're doing it anyway, just do it on mine. So the whole entire year of 2020, I showed up on Tuesdays and Thursday evenings and I started meditating. And what I realized is that people really needed it. The people really honestly needed the meditation. I started getting messages like, you know what? I haven't been sleeping. I haven't been sleeping and I'm listening to your meditation and now I'm sleeping. Or I'm struggling with a health challenge. And because I caught your meditation, I'm able to sleep. I'm struggling with anxiety and I really don't I never really experienced that calming effect. Now I do. Thank you so much. So I did it the whole entire year of 2020. So I thought, in 2021, I want to take it to the next level. I really want, I see this vision. I love tea. And so I thought, you know what? I'm going to turn this into a community. I want to share my love, my passion, to be in service for others and share my love for tea and relationship with everyone. So I started this tea and meditation community, and I would love for you, if you're listening, for you to lean in and for you to check it out. But I'm so excited about it. It's an opportunity for you to be part of a community. I think now more than ever, we are learning that it's so important to be a part of a community, not just one. A lot of times we get different things from many different communities that we belong to. And so to be a part of a community, to really look at meditation in a different way, because, before I started doing it, I had joined many different people, had many different trainings that I participated in. And I thought, you know what? You take a little bit here, you take a little bit from there, and then you make it your own. So you get to make it your own, your very, very own practice. You get to be in community with others. Then, if you are a tea lover like me, you get to explore many, many different teas. And it's not just about drinking tea. And that's what I love about it. It is about these specialized teas that we are going to be having inside our community. That's right. I have recently partnered with a lovely gal. Her name is Beth Seraphin. She had lost her daughter to pediatric brain cancer. And she created a 501c3 to support the families ongoing. And she's working on right now creating more and more specialized teas, because she already has tea and coffee for purchase, but specialized teas. And those specialized teas are going to be available for purchase inside Tea and Meditation. Not to mention a couple other partnerships that are going to be involved in our community. And then I could go on and on. So I don't want to take up our whole time talking about this. But
no, this is good.
Yes, if you are interested in leaning in and checking it out, reach out. Let's have a conversation. We have a month-to-month option and a yearly option. Just something for everyone. Thanks so much for that, Barbara. Thank you.
The thing is, so many people, they hear that they should meditate. They really do. They hear they should meditate. I mean, the scientific information out there and the credibility that of why meditation is so important. But then it's like, well, how do I do it? And that stops people because they think they have to sit in that what is that position called? Lotus position, where your legs are crossed. There's no way I can barely get down there, let alone cross my legs like that. And they think they have to sit and do the Om. Well, that is a meditation, absolutely, but it's not the only meditation.
And thank you so much for that, Barbara. I think that's so, so important. I think people shy away from things. I know that there are several things that I have kind of stepped back from because I'm like, that's interesting. I think I might have to think about that. But meditation means many, many, many different things. It means taking a bike ride. It means golfing. It means washing the dishes. I had a gentleman who said that he loved meditation in the shower. And some of you might be thinking, what? Meditation in the shower? Yes, because he was a very busy professional, and that was the only time he had to himself. The only time he had to himself was that time, those few minutes in the morning for that shower. So I absolutely love what you just said about that.
Yeah, it's and like with me, one of the things for me now that I got from doing a meditation with another person that I meditate with, and he came on, he was like, okay, people, are you going out for a walk in nature, but you're taking your phone with you? And instead of enjoying the nature, you're talking on your phone or you're texting. And I was like, yeah, okay, so that hit home. So now I still take my phone with me just for safety, and because I have an app on my phone that I support Tails, our local animal shelter. Every time I walk, I support that they get a donation to Tails every time I go for a walk. So, but I turn it on silent and I don't take it out of my pocket because I'm out. And the other day I was out walking and it was just that time of, letting my brain relax and just looking at the trees. And then I ran into a neighbor that I hadn't talked to since last year. But if I had been, listening to something or talking on the phone, I would have just waved and gone by rather than stopping and having a conversation with her for a couple of minutes.
I love that.
And that is what happens to people. They get so busy with what's these, having this on, go outside, but leave your phone either in your pocket and don't take it out, or leave it at home. But, and that was like, ooh, and that was a little check from somebody else, because that's why you hear things. It's like, oh yeah, I do that. Yeah. Cause I would go out and, have, go beyond that would be time to make a phone call. It's like, yeah, no.
No, that's total opposite. Yeah. What I do, I take my phone and put it in a whole different room. I put it in a whole nother room. So I don't have to even have I don't even want to be like I don't even want to have that, how we always, I'm like, no,
Right.
I'm taking it totally away, moving it out of my room where I'm at. And then it's funny because for the first, and see, this is the sad part. And I'm vulnerable here because I want people, don't do what I do kind of thing. So the sad part is I put it in another room, and then automatically I'm like, I put my hand like, Bar, why you putting your hand up for? The phone's not in your hand. The phone's in another room. What are you still looking at your hand for? The phone is not here. I'm so used to doing it that I have an imaginary phone in my hand. Like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, it's another. What am I doing? So then I do the Usha. That's my meditation. Usha. Usha. To calm down and say, okay, Barbara, take it in. You don't need that phone. You need to just meditate on you and what's going on around you. And I started doing stuff like that. And like you said, Kimberly and Barbara, it doesn't. Some people feel like, well, I got to meditate they say I got to meditate for an hour. I mean, that's better to do it that way. Sometimes you could do it 3 minutes just to get yourself back. Yeah.
Right. To get centered. To just take, like with me sometimes, you know what? Okay, let's be honest here. When you're in the washroom, you're a captive audience. Take time to breathe. Take time to breathe.
Yeah.
To just do that, just three, just cleansing breaths. It just gives you an opportunity to get centered.
Yes, and I think that's really important, even if it's just for those couple minutes and it's taking the breath, right? And just to take meditation a step further, once you start having whatever your practice is going to look like, right? Because every one of us has a different kind of practice that we like to engage in and put into what I like to call is the miracle morning. You're going to find that your body's like, well, wait a second. I'll tell you, after meditating for so long, it was like my body went into position. It was like it's just that feeling like, okay, I'm ready. It's time to wind down. It's time to go within. It's time to explore this. And the gifts, I'm telling you, we could talk about this for some time because the gifts that meditation give you, physically, emotionally. And again, that's another key benefit to joining us in tea and meditation is to kind of explore those and really get the noticing to the head, the chest, and the belly, and really saying, like, what am I experiencing and how can I shift it? So, yeah. Oh, so
And the thing is, in meditation too, that's when the universe, whatever your belief is, whether it's the universe or, whatever, or in our case, it's God, but if your universe or divine or source or whatever you want to call that inner being, that inner knowing, that inner intuition, that's when it can talk to you.
Right.
Is when you take those minutes to stop. That's when you'll get inspired action. That's what I call it, inspired action. Oh, that's what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah. And we can talk about it for quite some time,
years.
Responding and reacting. And, like, I don't know, I can tell many stories of where, because I meditate, I'm noticing things. I have different glasses on. Right. So then I'm noticing things, and I notice that, because my heart is open and it's in full expansion, I notice when God is presenting, a challenge for me, and he's testing me, and he's saying, you know what, are you going to respond or are you going to react? It's almost like he's going, what is this one going to do?
Right.
Is she going to take in what I'm saying? And that's for all of us.
And Exactly. I mean, and that's it so often that we get so busy that we don't take the time to just, I always call it stop and then wait and then listen. And so often we're so, and we call it overwhelm. Well, stop doing. I don't know. I'm going to age myself here. The Bob Newhart.
Yeah.
Where he has one of his clients come in and she's doing, I can't remember what it was that she was doing, and he said, well, just stop it.
Yes.
Just stop it. Just stop it. And now you can go on to YouTube, and just that clip is on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And it is just hysterical. And once in a while it'll be like, okay, Barbara, put on Bob Newhart. Barbara, just stop it. Just stop it. Because we beat ourselves up about stuff we can't even remotely have, that we have no control over.
No, but Barbara, I want to preface that, because you're exactly right. But let's frame that so everyone that's listening can really understand that, right?
Sure, absolutely. That's what this conversation is all about.
He's standing, he's sitting on the other side of the desk. She comes in and she's thinking that he's going to tell her some elaborate thing to do. So he's like, you might want to get your pen and paper out for this one. And then she's going on and on and on. And she's thinking, oh, he's going to, tell me this magic thing. She's ready to write it down. And then he looks at her and he goes, stop it. And she goes like this. And he goes, what? Like, blah, 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 blah. Stop it. I told you, stop it. She's like,
right.
What? So, but I think that clip really tells us, like, that's
just
how it is.
We complicate it. We try to complicate everything.
We do.
Make it big. Stop it.
Everything has to be a journey. Everything seems like has to be this long, drawn out journey type of thing. Some people like the drama. I'm just being honest. Just put it out there. And then it's just one thing. Stop it. Cut. I'm out. That's it.
Breathe.
Breathe in, breathe out. Look at the flowers. Look at a moon or something. Just
go out and look at the moon. Go out and look at the stars.
Yeah.
Because at least for those few minutes, you're not.
Okay, ladies, I needed this.
You're exactly right, though. Sometimes it's just changing your environment. So if you're in your home, especially during this pandemic, it seems like it's very long. You're in your home and you're feeling a little tightness, or however you're feeling, your stress or your anxiety, and you just walk outside and you look around and it's like, whoa, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone. Look at that tree. Look at the flowers. The grass is so green.
Right.
The grass is so green. And oh my goodness, there's children playing outside. If there's anything that has been a blessing, is that we have moved back a little bit and have this opportunity to become more simple.
Yeah.
And if you watch children, I'm glad you brought up the children, because when you watch children and how they play, how they do things, they don't be caught up in all the stuff. When we grow up and get adults, that's when everything gets all kind of like we need to say, stop it. We need to look at the children. They just take in everything, good and bad. No, they'd be like, some could be blowing up on the side or whatever. I'm just saying to make it bigger, and some could be just pop or blowing up, and they're like da 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 da, and they're just like carefree and everything, and we're just kind of like, oh my god, that person over there is yelling at me, and the kids are like la la la, because they're just living.
And one of the things, like my grandchildren live with me. We all live together, and I can hear them just at each other, and I just hate you, and you did this, and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and then of course 10 minutes later they're all buddy because they're their best friends. And we as adults, how often have we not so much that we get into an argument, and then it's like, well, you did that and I'm never going to forgive you, and 10 years later, 20 years later, They're
That's
still
bad.
holding a grudge.
Yeah.
And you know what? Yesterday I was listening to the radio and they were talking about that of how detrimental it is to hold a grudge, because it doesn't hurt the person that you're holding the grudge against.
Hurt you.
It only hurts you.
Yeah.
And it was like, obviously somebody had called in, because that's what I loved about my radio show. It's K-Love. And they talk, it's all uplifting and all encouraging. And they come on and they just have all sorts of things of people, of listeners that have called in with issues. And I guess somebody had called in. So they did a whole segment on holding a grudge, on the good side and on the good side of why you need to let it go, and the people that had not let it go and what it did to them until they let it go. And then they could look back and go, oh, well, that's why I've been suffering with this.
Mhm.
Because when you hold a grudge, it's internal.
Yeah.
It sits somewhere in your body. And all of a sudden you have a shoulder pain, or you've got a pain in your neck, or you've got you've got something in your stomach.
And I think you bring up a great point, Barbara, with that, because whether it's a grudge, whether it's, exploring anger, exploring whatever you're challenged with, meditation, again, I think we're circling back, right, to the importance of meditation. And again, if you're listening, just leaning in and knowing that meditation is so many things. It's so many things. Yes, it is good to have your own practice. Like Barbara, I love this, that is just so, that's powerful, right? Because you've trained your body and your mind to kind of come together, and you're saying, you know what, I'm the boss. And I think that's really important too, because it's not like there's any magic pill, if you will, for any of the things that we are challenged with. But what it is it's an awareness. It's an awareness, and you're given that awareness for a reason. Again, Barbara said faith, whether it's your faith source, whatever, you're given it for a reason, because there is a purpose that was placed on your heart, and you are meant to fulfill that. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. And I always talk about, like, part of my affirmation is that something good is going to happen to me, through me, and for me today.
Mm-hmm. That's powerful.
Because it's like, okay, fine, because some things happen and it's for you to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And sometimes some things happen so that you can go through it to take somebody else through it with you. And then sometimes it's like, oh, wow, thank you for what you've done for me. It's, absolutely.
And I think it's important too, because sometimes, I don't know if this is your experience, ladies, but sometimes you get the same challenge over and over.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, are your ears open? Did you go to the ear doctor and get your ears cleaned out? Are you aware how many times do you want to bang your head on the wall? Are you going to pay attention this time?
Right. I call it going around the mountain. Because we all have little, we all want to go up in life, but sometimes you're stuck at the base of the mountain.
Yeah.
Barbara, you've been around this mountain twice already. Now obviously that's not working. Who was it? Einstein? Isn't it Einstein?
Twice.
Then I only went around it twice. There have been times where I've gone around it a lot more. But that's Albert Einstein. He's the one that said, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting to get a different result. People.
And how many times we do that?
We do that. We all do it.
Human condition. Human condition. We have to love ourselves.
And accept ourselves. That's one of the things that I talk about in my personality things when somebody does the assessment. It's like, oh, that's why I do that. It's like, we all have things of why, and it's just because it's just part of our personality that it does that. But it's just hysterical. It's just hysterical. It's like, oh, that's why. Or then I see when I do couples, oh, that's why you do that. because you can lots of times you can see it in somebody else
Mhm.
rather than in yourself.
Oh yeah.
Great
That's why I
point.
see I look at that mirror. Yeah.
Great point. And Barbara, you're so right, Barbara Beckley. You're so right with the triggers, right? You're so right with the triggers. And that, again, bringing it back full circle to meditation. Great, great way to really honestly not get intimidated by those triggers and looking, in the mirror and saying, what? Are you kidding me? I have to look at that in the mirror again.
I keep a little mirror right next to me because I always, especially when things happen and I start dealing with people and something might have went, challenge might have went wrong, whatever. And then I'd be like, well, why are they da? And then while I'm talking to them, I'm looking in the mirror. I'm like, well, what did you play in this? That's when I start looking in the mirror.
What was your part in this?
What was your part? You're sitting there about that. I'm like, bah, 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 bah. And then all of a sudden I look in the mirror. I was like, okay, Barbara, you had a role in this. It takes 2, 3 people, whatever the tango. The old saying goes, it really takes 2, but sometimes 3 or 4 kicks in. But yeah,
or they're trying to dance to different music and, expecting it to work.
And you're all like this, you're like this, and you're all like this, you're like that. So you're all over the place.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I always tell people own it. I've been saying it a lot lately too. Just own it. Nothing's wrong with owning it because that's where you grow. That's where you grow. Right. And that's where you can open up and say, you know what? I'm not perfect.
Exactly. None of us are perfect.
Your moments. I'm not perfect.
Oh.
And I'm not claiming to be and never will. I mean, we strive to perfection, but we're not perfect. We never be that way. No.
It never will be. Right.
No. Like Kimberly said earlier, there's no fun. Where's the fun? Dealing with stuff and going through things. That's part of life.
Right. Oh, really? But anyways, Kimberly, we're gonna.
Yes.
You can tell we start to run out of time here because it's like all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, we've been talking for 45 minutes. Anyways, share with us how people can get in touch with you and find out about
the tea and meditation.
Absolutely. Well, with your permission, I'd love to place my lead magnet, of course, in the comments of the show with your ladies' permission.
Barb does that. She'll put that all in the show notes.
Awesome. And so I'd love to share that with the community so they can learn more about me, my story, and what is going on with this fantastic. We've covered a lot of it during this conversation. So I so appreciate the both of you. But this 8-week program that really honestly helps professional working women create those shifts that they need to create to get those relationships in alignment, to get those mindful relationships. We're focused on the partner relationship, of course, but it really trickles down. It trickles down all throughout your life, throughout your relationships. You're going to see changes with your children. You're going to see changes in your business life. You're just going to see changes. So you can reach out to me via email, intentionalpathways, capital B, capital D @gmail.com. You can reach out to me and find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Clubhouse, Instagram. Hey, I'm doing it all. I'm doing it all. In fact, I'm also hosting a couple rooms. For you parents out there, I'm hosting a couple rooms with fantastic ladies on parenting, business, and so much more. So come check us out. So I really appreciate this conversation this morning, ladies.
Yeah. And the thing is, meditation, I love that Kimberly works with relationship, because so much of meditation, so much of relationship is being able to meditate, and to meditate in a group and meditate with your family. And it can be as simple as taking your grandchildren out for a walk.
Yes.
Spend time with them. Teach them how to breathe. Teach them. I'm going to share one story with you. One day, a friend of mine we were sitting at the airport, and I was sharing with her how to breathe. And this man, I didn't know, we were just having a conversation, and this man was sitting across from me who I didn't know. We were sitting at the airport, and this lady came back and sat down beside him, and he talked to her in a different language. I don't know what it was, but then he turned to me and he said, "Would you be willing to tell my wife what you just shared about breathing?" And I went, "Sure." Because you never know who's listening.
Right.
Because people want to be in relationship and they want to learn how to do things. And that's why it's just so cool when somebody can do that, because you never know who's listening. And that's why I love doing this show. We don't know who's listening.
I love it. And that's so
And the same with you, with your things. You don't know who's listening and whose life you can impact and that you can have influence over. So just saying.
I love it.
So thank you. So yeah, we'll make sure that we get Kimberly's information, and I will update that. And Kimberly also, if you want to put in the comments as well. We had a lot of people watching today, and I'm so glad that they came in to hear our conversation and support Time to Shine Happiness Show with the BBs. So with that, Kimberly, we wish you so many blessings on top of blessings in your life, in your business, and in your personal life. And always do that oosha moment. Center.
Be centered.
So with that, we'll see another show next Tuesday. And Barbara, I know you're going to have another wonderful guest like Kimberly to come on and conversate with us.
Yep. We're going to be sharing it out. All right. Have a good one, everybody.
All right. Bye. Thanks, Kimberly.
Thank you, ladies.